Sunday morning, and breaking news, there is a shelter-in-place order for a very large section of the Fairfield area near Port Union. There is fire and critical hazmat situation unfolding right now at the Cook Food Plant. What we're learning as crews are working to contain that situation.
And steady rainfall continues through this morning. I'll take you through the latest hour-by-hour trends on what I'm watching and what you can expect for the rest of your Sunday plans. That's coming up.
And 2 people dead, 2 more injured in a shooting in Northside. The argument that started it all and what police are sharing about the victims.
This is WLWT News 5, leading the way with breaking news.
We do want to get right to that breaking news out of Fairfield. That shelter-in-place order remains in effect hours after a large fire happened at the Cook Food Plant on Commerce Center Drive. That's in the Port Union area of Fairfield. Now, crews from Butler and Hamilton counties are working to put out that fire and contain what they are calling a critical hazmat situation. So you can see on this map that section in yellow, that circle in yellow is the 2-mile radius in question from where the food plant is at the center. We have seen agencies from Butler and Hamilton counties again on scene. No flames showing at this point, but several ladder trucks were shooting water onto heavy smoke that was coming out of that building. We also saw hazmat vehicles pulling up to the scene there and employees leaving that facility and heading to their cars. Now, there are several buildings on that property. It appears to us that the fire is contained to just one of the buildings. If you are, though, close by that plant and you can smell some sort of odor in the air, they want to make sure that everyone stays safe. Emergency officials have not shared if anyone was hurt, what started the fire, or what that critical hazmat situation means, what is sparking that. Again, we're working to get more information for you. And again, just letting everyone know if this is something in your area that you are experiencing, please make sure that you shut all windows and doors, bring any pets inside, seal off anything that you're able to. If you live within that 2-mile radius, they also recommend turning off your HVAC so that you're not bringing air in from the outside. We are going to continue to keep you updated, hearing that there might be a press briefing here shortly, and we're sending our Nicole Aponte over to that right now, so we'll get you updates as we get them here. Thanks again for joining us on this Sunday morning. I'm Kelly Rippin with meteorologist Adam Burniston now. Adam, it's also a weather impact day because of the rain, so this is something we can all handle, although it might be a little bit of a nuisance if you have to head out early.
Yeah, if you are heading out on the roads early, just be mindful that even wet roads can still be slick roads out there. We're not dealing with the snow we've had. Warmer weather is arriving in the forecast. Kelly?
Adam, thanks so much. We'll check back in. It's been a very busy morning. We do have more breaking news. A fire at a condo in College Hill has left 1 person dead, and fire crews have been on scene for about 2 hours now. WLWT News 5's Richard Childs there for us. And Richard, you just spoke with the assistant fire chief about this fire.
Assistant Chief Matt Flagler confirming 1 person found dead inside of this condominium. When crews arrived, the fire was moving very quickly, already engulfing one of these condominiums. I want you to take a look. Photographer Jake Innes giving you a span. The concern was that the fire was spreading from one building very quickly to the next. These are adjoined condominiums. People were able to get evacuated very quickly, but when crews arriving, very fast-moving fire. Officer on scene immediately calling for a second alarm. Now, that second alarm bringing in a total of about 60 to 70 fire personnel. These crews aggressively attacking the fire inside, going in, getting a hose line on the fire very quickly, but the fire quickly spreading between building to building. For fire personnel, certainly a great deal of concern, making sure the structure was sound around them. But as you can see from this video, you get an idea of just how quickly the fire was moving. Talking to people who live in this neighborhood, talking about their neighbor that they're so concerned with, again, who was inside the building when this fire was spreading.
Neighbors alerted me that the house was on fire, and I was watching from my Ring camera. It could have been me. She's a nurse. Wonderful lady. It could have been me.
Our certainly prayers going out to that family. We're withholding the name of the victim at this time, pending notification of next of kin. Right now, fire personnel calling a complete loss on the 1 condominium where the fire originated. Other buildings right now under partial loss as well to the structure. But at this point, Red Cross is working with several folks who have been displaced by this fast-moving fire. Reporting live this morning, Richard Childs, WLWT News 5.
We appreciate the update. Heartbreaking situation there. And some more breaking news. There was chaos outside of a nightclub in Northside. 4 people in total were shot, and we have learned that 2 of them died. This unfolded on Hamilton Avenue. It is still closed by Spring Grove Avenue. Police tell us it started as an argument in the nightclub, spilled out into the street out about 1:30 this morning when the shooting started. Again, we have learned that 2 people have died and 2 others were hurt. Police say those 2 that were hurt have non-life-threatening injuries. CIS homicide detectives have been on scene, and we know 2 people were detained. It is not clear how or if they are involved. If you have any information, you are asked to contact Crime Stoppers. More breaking news. Multiple agencies responding to a large house fire. This one in New Richmond. Now, crews were first called to that home on Susanna Way at about 12:15 this morning. Officers say the home is vacant, but say the owner may have been there at the time. Claremont County Dispatch says no one was taken to the hospital because of the fire. They say at least 7 departments responded to that call. An investigation into how the fire started is now underway. We understand a lot of breaking news here, especially for the situation in Fairfield, as people are waking up, learning about the shelter in place for the area around the Cook food plant. We have crews there working to get the latest for you. Again, if that press briefing happens here, we will carry it live or bring you the latest as we get it. You can always get the latest on our website or our mobile app. Make sure you do have notifications turned on. All right, some updates here to news from Friday night. We know 1 person was shot in Mount Airy, and police say that shooting happened on Hawaiian Terrace and Coleraine Avenue. And when officers arrived, they found a person who had been shot. That person was taken to a local hospital, considered stable this morning. Police say there is no suspect description, but the investigation is ongoing. All right, it's 6:37 here. Again, busy morning, and it is also a weather impact day. We've got rain that is coming through the area, but we are thrilled about the rain and not snow or ice. Let's check in now with meteorologist Adam Burniston on what today holds, Adam, and then also what this rain is sort of ushering in.
Yeah, some warmer weather eventually coming into the forecast. We've already had coming up in just a little bit. Kelly.
Okay, Adam, thanks so much. Team USA looking to make more history today in Milan, and coming up, the historic events already happening and how Team USA hoping to add to that medal count. All right, 6:39. Yes, some rain and some fog. So if you are someone that has to head out early on this Sunday, just be aware visibility might not be great in certain areas. Please watch out for any areas that you can see water collect. There could be hydroplaning. And of course, rain's going to fill some of those potholes, so they may be harder to see. We've got you covered here on WLWT.
WLWT News 5 today, leading the way.
6 a.m. on your Sunday. Right now, WLWT News 5 today is tracking this heavy snowfall falling across our area as this major winter storm pushes through greater Cincinnati. States of emergencies have been declared in Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana.
Yeah, the storm is massive. We have you covered as the storm impacts our area here on the Sunday. It is an alert day looking at CityCam from Ohio, looking across the river into Kentucky. You could call it a winter wonderland, especially if you're inside and you don't have to go in it. You can enjoy it like that. So with this, hundreds of churches and businesses are closed today. The message from officials is to stay home and ride out the storm. Thank you for joining us this morning. I'm Stephen Albritton.
And I'm Megan Mitchell. We have live team coverage of all of the impacts this morning. We are going to begin with meteorologist Randy Rico tracking the snow hitting communities right now. Randy.
All right, so we are in the thick of this thing for at least another 12 hours. So look outside, see how much you have on the sidewalk and the back deck, and know that we're going to continue to pile on snow here through much of the day.
We'll likely see more issues, so we'll keep you updated as we continue through this morning. Megan?
All right, Adam, thank you. So snow crews working around the clock to try and clear those roadways, or at least make them passable.
Absolutely. We actually just had a plow doing a top deck here at our WLWT studio. It was a little loud, so we were a little worried, but they're out there doing their best for us. Several communities across greater Cincinnati are under this snow emergency as this storm moves through. We have crews all across the area tracking the impacts this morning.
That's right. So first we have WLWT News 5's Richard Childs. He's in northern Kentucky for us. Want to start with Nicole Aponte, who is live with the conditions in Cincinnati. Nicole, how's it looking out there?
Megan and Stephen, good morning to you. Right now, we're on the University of Cincinnati's campus, where it looks pretty much like a winter wonderland. And we also have found some friends this morning who have taken part in the snow's magic. We have Stephen, Mateo, and Cameron. They are all freshmen here at the University of Cincinnati. What's it been like so far? It's early on a Sunday morning. What's it like out here for you guys?
Honestly, it's beautiful. I really like it.
Thank you guys so much. Also, you heard it here first. Stay inside today. That is the warning from officials of what they want you to do. Of course, it is beautiful outside. Maybe go out into that front lawn. But when it comes to driving, you're going to want to do that with a lot of caution. Megan and Stephen.
Yeah, cocoa, hot chocolate. Yeah, I'll believe that. Thank you so much, Nicole. We do appreciate that. We'll be checking back in here in the next couple of hours. So we have live team coverage. Our Giacomo Luca, he's also out there. He's up to our northern counties. He's in Warren County. He's checking out Butler County. Giacomo, what are you seeing out there on the road, sir?
Yeah, Stephen, this should be a familiar sight for a lot of folks. We are right here next to Kings Island. You can just see as we go ahead and send it back to you. Of course, folks, just going to want to take it easy for the next 12 hours or so. We're live this morning. Giacomo Luca, WLWT News 5.
Now, Giacomo, you've been out there for a bit, 75 and 71. Have you seen any cars off to the side of the road, or does it seem like everybody heeded the caution overnight and just kind of stayed home, bunkered down?
Yeah, Stephen, you know, the good news is folks look like they're really heeding the warning as much as they can. We're not seeing very many vehicles on the road with the exception of those snow plows. Those are folks really doing the work. I will say, though, on the way in up to Mount Auburn, getting into the station this morning up on Dorchester, I did see one SUV trying to make it up the road, had to do one of those backups to get a little speed to get up the road. So wherever you're at, you're just going to have to be very patient, leave plenty of room as you're driving around this morning.
Giacomo, you're not far from my house. Might have you break out my snowblower since I won't be able to get there for a little bit. But we appreciate you. We'll check back in here in the next hour or so. Okay, let's take a live look at the city's snow plow tracker right now. It is working. Remember, they were having those bandwidth issues with so many people trying to use it at the end of 2025. And crews are working around the clock to get the roads clear. So if you want to report on snowy, icy conditions, you're encouraged to call 311. That's the city's non-emergency line. But remember, the focus will always be the primary roads, getting those cleared, those main arteries before they get to those secondary streets, those alleys. So patience is the word of the day right now.
Yeah, this is almost going to be like a game for people today to just see how the snow tracker and the snow plows are getting through the city streets. We want to also tell you about the weather safety story about safety. So Mark Holtkamp sent us this photo. This is outside of his home in Anderson Township. You can actually see that those road crews trying to clear the street there. Mark says they're doing a great job, so definitely send those photos, those videos to WLWT. You can go newsdesk@WLWT.com. You could also find that email address right on our website, and then it allows us to give everyone a wider look at what's happening throughout the region.
Yes, but we do know what everybody is getting is a lot of snow on this alert day. Let's talk to meteorologist Randy Rico. Randy, you've been tracking the storm from days ago, watching it come together. Now here it is. Take us through what's still to come.
A lot more snow for about at least 12 more hours. And at the moment, you can kind of average. Obviously, heads up, the roads are going to stay messy overnight and likely for most of us on Monday as well. Stephen?
Thank you so much, Randy. We're leading the way as this winter storm drops several inches of snow across greater Cincinnati.
Yeah, let's take a live look right now at one of our roadways right here, and you can see that it's covered at least 3, 4, some places 5 inches at this point on those roadways. It is getting packed down, and the snowplow driver that I talked to while I was coming in this morning did assure me that it is coming down so fast that he and the other snowplow drivers just cannot keep up. So definitely stay home if you can today. You can see that plow in the background there. We'll be right back with team coverage across the region.
Another U.S. soldier killed in the war with Iran. This time, a 26-year-old from Kentucky makes the ultimate sacrifice. More on the young man behind the uniform. Local breweries brewing up trouble for the state. Their legal fight after a ban on popular THC drinks.
In our spring-like weather pattern, we face another conditional threat for strong to severe storms. I'll break down the timeline and share with you the potential threats.
And no more saying the Bengals don't spend money. The big moves made today, hours into the free agency game. The explosive weapons coming to the Bengals defense.
This is WLWT News 5, leading the way.
The death toll is
is climbing as strikes continue in the Middle East. Israel and Iran trading attacks hitting economic and military targets.
Another major development today, Iran declaring the son of the country's old leader who died in a missile attack the new supreme leader of Iran.
And the war also playing out at the pump. Oil prices now at $100 a barrel, driving gas prices to record-breaking levels.
Thanks a lot for joining us on this Monday night at 11. I'm Mike Dardis.
And good evening to you. I'm Cherie Palello. President Trump says the U.S. has now hit more than 5,000 targets in Iran since the war began a little more than a week ago. The president saying this afternoon the conflict will end soon, but not before Iran no longer has the capacity to attack the U.S. or its allies.
It's the beginning of building a new country, but they have no Navy, they have no Air Force, they have no anti-aircraft equipment. It's all been blown up. They have no radar, they have no telecommunications, and they have no leadership. It's all gone. Thank you very much.
President Trump characterizing the conflict as an excursion into Iran that he predicted, as Cherie said, will be over soon. So far, 7 American soldiers have died in the fighting. The president did not say whether more troops would be sent to the Middle East. And the latest American to die in Iran actually was a Kentucky native.
That's right. Sergeant Benjamin Pennington died yesterday after an attack, though, that happened 8 days ago. WLWT News 5's anchor Chris Jacobs here now with more on what we know about the strike and also Pennington's history. Hi there, Chris.
Yeah, Mike, Cherie. So the attack happened at the Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia a day after the U.S. and Israel launched its military campaign against Iran. Sergeant Benjamin Pennington is now the 7th soldier to die in Operation Epic Fury. Now, tonight we learned Pennington was from Glendale, Kentucky, about an hour south of Louisville. He joined the Army in 2017 and was assigned to the Space Battalion and Missile Defense Command. In his years in the Army, he became highly decorated, recognized with 3 Army Commendation Medals, an Army Achievement Medal, and a National Defense Service Medal. Our sister station in Louisville spoke with his former pastor, who says this news has rocked that entire Glendale community.
They're devastated, which the whole community is devastated. And if we're brokenhearted, just think, I don't know how you give up a child. And I've empathized through all this because I have 2 sons. And, you know, if they call me and tell me my son is hurt, I'm going. Well, when you're in Saudi Arabia, you can't do that.
Well, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear also releasing a statement calling Pennington a hero. Senator Mitch McConnell also honoring his service and his sacrifice. Pennington will be posthumously promoted to Staff Sergeant. Chris Jacobs, WLWT News 5.
Chris, thanks so much. Now we have an update on a group of Greater Cincinnati couples that got trapped in Dubai while on vacation.
Yeah, so tonight we found out they are back safe and sound after the war with Iran canceled their flights home. So we actually introduced you to Cliff and Brianna Hurd last week. They shared these videos of rockets flying right near their hotel as they were sheltering in place. Tonight we learned that they were able to get a flight out of Greece and then landed back in the States over the weekend. Now, we're continuing to stay on top of the news out of the Middle East for you 24/7. To read the very latest on the war in Iran and what's going on, go to our website, WLWT.com, or download our free WLWT mobile app.
Well, in other news, a couple of Greater Cincinnati brewers have filed a lawsuit over the ban on intoxicating hemp.
50 West Brewing and Urban Artifact both saying that if Senate Bill 56 takes effect, people are going to lose jobs and they're going to lose millions of dollars. So tonight, only on WLWT, our Daisy Kershaw talks with the owner of 50 West to learn more about why they're so upset. Hi there, Daisy.
Cherie, Mike, 50 West founder Bobby Slattery says Sunflower, a low-milligram THC beverage, now makes up 50% of their sales. He says customers love it, and now this law is creating concerns, telling me that people are calling, trying to buy the product in bulk before the ban.
The primary driver for me is it's the people that work at 50.
Slattery says that for the brewers behind this lawsuit, the next few weeks are critical. He says that they're fighting for the jobs that this beverage has created and also fighting to give consumers options beyond just alcoholic or non-alcoholic beverages. Reporting live tonight from 50 West, Daisy Kershaw, WLWT News 5.
All right, Daisy, thanks for the update. Newly released 911 calls revealing the terrifying moments after bullets flew into the Mainville Kroger hitting 2 people inside.
Now, the man accused of pulling the trigger now back at home as he awaits a trial date. Well, imagine hearing that in your neighborhood. Prosecutors say 40-year-old Jason Hall fired an AK-47 from his backyard. Investigators say he didn't intentionally fire into that Kroger, but at least 2 of the bullets traveled from his backyard through the woods and across the road into the entrance of that store. One of the victims describing her injuries during a 911 call.
Hello, is the attacker still nearby?
I don't know. I just heard a loud explosion.
Okay, is there any serious bleeding?
I am seriously bleeding on my left leg.
Okay, stay on the line with me, okay?
And I'm also bleeding from my pinky, but I don't think it's as bad.
Hall was released with conditions. He has to wear a GPS monitor. He was also ordered to not have or buy any guns or ammunition. Tonight, growing concern over an intersection in Campbell County where a man was hit and killed on Thursday.
So his family telling us tonight 42-year-old Ivan Chandler was crossing Alexandria Pike trying to make it to his bus stop after work. WLWT News' Sean McKinnon talked with his family and neighbors who believes that this could have been prevented.
I mean, something like this is bound to happen.
People living in Cold Spring are raising their concerns.
This could have absolutely been avoided if there were better regulations. Here, there should be, especially with these new stores, there should absolutely be crosswalks.
The crosswalk light has not been working for over a year now. Since last year when it snowed and the plow knocked the light post over and it hasn't been fixed.
Ivan Chandler's family tells us he was trying to get to a Tank bus stop after getting off work Thursday night when he was struck by an SUV. This video is from the next day. You can see a Meijer employee tries to make it across safely, waving ahead cars that narrowly miss him.
That concerns me because that could have been me. Because I've been almost hit several times. I feel like they don't care about the maintenance out here.
Tristan Feltz walks the same long trek to a makeshift bus stop. It takes him through a construction zone right next to the busy road. Neighbors hoping these out-of-commission crosswalks can be brought back to life before another person is killed.
It really falls on Campbell County to do something about it. It really has to weigh on whether or not they want to put the focus on the businesses or the construction on safe public transportation.
Sean McKinnon, WLWT News 5.
Sports now. Everybody just hold on here. The NFL's free agency frenzy is off and running, and the Bengals are spending money.
2 big ones. I thought they were about to land a third, but it fell through. But there's time. Defense and more defense here on day 1 of the negotiating period. Sports director Charlie Clifford here now with a scoop on a new safety and a new edge rusher. Charlie?
Mike Treat's a B+ today for the Bengals, which is a big step up from the last couple of years. Could be a big day 2 tomorrow, so don't go anywhere. Brian Cook is back. This is an all-Cincinnati story. Mount Healthy, then UC. Of course, then he played for the enemy. 4 seasons in Kansas City, the past 3, the Chiefs starting safety. Wasn't racking up interceptions, but the former second-round pick became that enforcer of KC's championship-level defense. 3-year deal worth just over $40 million. Coincidentally, his former fellow Bearcat safety, Kobe Bryant, signed essentially the identical deal today with the Bears. Now, Cook can tackle. Bengals safeties the last 2+ years, you know how tough that's been around here. So possibly problem solved for this defense, at least on the back end. Now ahead on the show, Seahawks Super Bowl champ pass rusher Boye Maffe's a Bengal. The numbers on that deal and why this may be a bargain down the road. And then the All-Pro who the Bengals went after but couldn't get today. That story in a couple minutes. Charlie Clifford, WLWT News 5 Sports.
All righty, Charlie. He said don't go anywhere, just so you know, we're not. I mean,
Definitely
we're working.
He's been glued to Twitter.
I'll be here with you, Charlie. Yeah, beautiful night tonight. Tomorrow's going to be even warmer.
Yeah, we're enjoying the gorgeous weather, too, before things change midweek. Let's get right on over to our chief meteorologist, Kevin Robinson, with a preview. Hi there.
All right, guys, we'll squeeze in another beautiful day tomorrow, but as you can see behind me here, showers and storms.
All right, Kevin, thank you. More moms choosing to deliver at home.
But as you can imagine, it does come with risks.
This baby is not managing labor very well. I think we need to transfer.
Tonight, the local woman who found herself in a dangerous situation in the middle of having her baby.
Well, it's a cold start to this morning and a chilly game day forecast. I'll have your latest Bengals forecast and what you can expect as we head back into work and school.
Plus, Venezuela's president in a New York jail cell this morning awaiting his first appearance in court. This as people react to the U.S. operation capturing him when Nicolas Maduro will be in court, plus the next steps in the conflict. And 6 people are without a home this morning after a fire rips through an Avondale home. The new details from fire officials as they search for a cause.
This is WLWT News 5 Today, leading the way.
Good Sunday morning. I'm Nicole DePonte alongside meteorologist Adam Berniston on this game day, this last Bengals game day of the season. And Adam, we're kind of winning with this forecast already, no matter what the outcome is today.
Yeah, not too bad today. It is a little cold this morning, but overall for January, the typical January weather by this afternoon. How long it's staying around is coming up in a few minutes. Nicole?
Adam, thank you. We continue to lead the way this morning on the large-scale military operation the U.S. carried out in Venezuela. Right now, Venezuela's president is in a U.S. jail cell where he awaits a court hearing for tomorrow. Police releasing this video overnight showing President Nicolas Maduro inside a DEA office getting fingerprints and his photo taken. Now, this all began early yesterday morning when many people woke up to the sounds of explosions. U.S. military officials saying over 150 aircraft were used in the operation. They flew over the country around 1 in the morning. U.S. forces then reached Maduro's compound, capturing him and his wife while they were asleep. Officials say a fire broke out during the capture, hitting a U.S. helicopter. Several troops were injured, but no Americans were killed. 2 hours later, U.S. forces safely flew out of the country. They took Maduro and his wife to the USS Iwo Jima, where they took this photo you're seeing right on your screen. He would later be taken to New York, where he is facing narco-terrorism charges. Maduro's capture follows months of pressure by the Trump administration. President Trump saying the U.S. will run Venezuela during the transition to a new leader.
We don't want to be involved with having somebody else get in, and we have the same situation that we had for the last long period of years. So we are going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition.
Court documents accuse Maduro of partnering with cartels in a massive cocaine trafficking operation. They claim he and his wife ordered kidnappings, beatings, and murders against those who owed them drug money or undermined them. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says an operation like this could have been avoided if Maduro turned himself in.
I want to be clear about one thing. Nicolas Maduro had multiple opportunities to avoid this. He was provided multiple very, very, very generous offers and chose instead to act like a wild man.
Venezuela's vice president has been sworn in as president, the country's government demanding Maduro's release. Maduro is due in a New York courtroom tomorrow. Our local lawmakers also commenting on yesterday's attack on Venezuela. Democratic U.S. Congressman Greg Landsman says while the country should fight against drugs coming into the U.S., the actions taken in Venezuela are not the answer.
Most of the drugs come from China. They come from Southeast Asia. They come from Mexico. They come from Colombia. They don't come from Venezuela. So, it's very unnerving that he went ahead and did this without support from Congress or the American people. And now he's saying, I'm going to run the country, which is, again, going to be incredibly costly. And it puts American lives at risk.
Landsman adding that major oil corporations will benefit from the U.S. taking control of Venezuela, making billions at the expense of American taxpayers and the people in Venezuela. Northern Kentucky Republican Thomas Massie agreeing with Landsman, saying the actions taken by the Trump administration was, quote, not constitutionally sound. Meantime, Republican Senator Bernie Moreno standing by Trump's actions. Moreno was born in Latin America, saying the president, quote, eliminated an obvious, clear, and present danger to our nation, adding that Trump has, quote, shown the world that he will defend and protect American lives. Maduro's capture has also received mixed reviews from millions around the world. Many in Venezuela and in parts of Miami celebrating this move, calling it the first step towards a free and democratic Venezuela.
The last thing you lose is faith, and people have held on to the faith and hope
that we were going to have a Venezuela that's free.
The U.S. operation also sparking protests here at home and across the country. People against this move gathered outside of Cincinnati City Hall, calling for an end to U.S. involvement in the region.
U.S. intervention is never a good thing. War, bombs, killing civilians is never a good thing. If another country wants to change the way their government runs, it has nothing to do with the United States. The United States should not be putting boots on the ground in a foreign country and installing a government that will be favorable to them.
Protesters we spoke with say sovereignty in Venezuela is most important, but the U.S. should allow for the people in the country to take action. This is a developing situation. New details coming in by the minute. Count on WLWT to keep you updated as we learn more. Download our app and opt in for breaking news notifications. We are learning more about a house fire overnight in Avondale. Fire officials say 6 people are without a home after a fire broke out at this home on Hickory Street. Crews responding to the call around 9 last night. When they arrived, crews say the fire was on the 2nd and 3rd floors of the home. Luckily, everyone inside was able to make it out safely. Officials are investigating what started that fire. Right now, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Explosives is offering a reward for information in the death of an 11-year-old. Quinary Reed was shot and killed on New Year's Day while playing at a Laurel Park in the West End. Police say they were called to John Street and West Liberty around 6:30 on Thursday night. Laurel Playground is just blocks away from TQL Stadium. When they arrived, they found Reed with a gunshot wound. She was taken to Children's where she later died. Councilman Seth Walsh says the area has a history of violence, and over the summer, city leaders approved funding for security cameras. Cincinnati police are asking anyone with information to come forward. You can also report anonymously through Crime Stoppers. A suspect is still on the run this morning after a SWAT situation in Roll Hill. Police say he fired shots in broad daylight in a neighborhood. There was a large police presence on President Drive yesterday, just south of I-74. SWAT was on scene for several hours. Cincinnati police tell us they were able to locate the suspect by using a home's private security camera. That suspect then ran into a home and escaped. Thankfully, no one was hurt. The suspect involved has not been identified. Police are continuing to investigate and do not believe there is a danger to the community. Students at a Northern Kentucky elementary school are starting the new year at home just a little bit longer. Latonia Elementary will not return to in-person classes this week after a partial roof collapse. WLWT News 5's Richard Childs is live in Covington with what school officials are saying this morning. Hi, Richard.
Now, good morning. An extended Christmas break for these students at Latonia Elementary, not returning to in-person classrooms for at least another week. You can see behind me the barricades still up, the booms in place, preparing for work that needs to be done. Now, taking a look at video from our Skycam, you get an idea. This is video from Skycam 5. You get an idea of what the damage looks like. You see the buckling roof and cracked brick outside of the school. Students throughout the remainder of the district scheduled to return to class for winter break on Tuesday. Latonia Elementary students remaining out of school on that day, as well as Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, when the entire district transitions to a non-traditional instruction schedule.
On Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the entire district will transition to NTI, which is non-traditional instruction. The plan will give the district time to determine next steps and the best options for our students and staff. The district is currently evaluating alternative options to house students in the event that the building is not ready for occupancy the following week.
You can see the equipment in place as they're going to start that evaluation, determining the structural integrity of this building, getting an idea of when they're going to get these students back either into this building or what other educational opportunities may be available to them to redistribute these students throughout the district. Reporting live this morning in Latonia, Richard Childs, WLWT News 5.
Richard, thank you. Still to come, a child is rushed to the hospital after he was shot in the head. What police say happened and the work to keep him alive this morning.
And we're keeping it mild as we go into the work and school week, but a little chilly today. I'll tell you what you can expect for the Bengals game day and how warm we get as we head back to work and school this week ahead. I'll have that and more coming up in a few minutes.
Now at 6 o'clock, a 12-year-old shot multiple times, that child's life in danger. His mom speaking out for the first time as the man accused of pulling the trigger faces a judge.
My world came crashing down. Like, I didn't know at that point if my kid's alive, if he's dead.
The charges that 19-year-old suspect is facing tonight.
It's a cold start to the week with more snow. I'll let you know if it's our only chance for the week and if temperatures moderate later on.
And trouble in paradise. The Mexican drug cartel leader sparking violence all across the country and trapping American tourists in their hotels.
They did raise the alert here and said you will see more police, and we have seen some, but there's been no problem.
One local couple's reaction as they try to get home safe.
This is WLWT News 5, leading the way.
Well, we begin tonight with that 12-year-old boy shot multiple times, now in critical condition at Children's Hospital, facing life-threatening injuries after gunfire in Covington. Thanks for joining us here on a Monday at 6. I'm Mike Dardis.
Good evening to you. I'm Cherie Palello. So the man accused of pulling the trigger is now charged, just a 19-year-old here. WLWT News 5's Brian Hamrick talking with the mother of the victim today. He's live tonight with the story that appears to not be an accident. Hi, Brian.
Yeah, Cherie, well, the mother of this 12-year-old boy has some surprising revelations about what she says is behind the shooting.
Oh, my God, I can't imagine.
He's just 12 years old. Now, his mother says that he was with a 20-year-old who was involved in a violent incident, and that's what she believes made him the target in this incident. Reporting live, Brian Hamrick, WLWT News 5.
The victim's younger and younger. Brian, I'm wondering, what's the status of the case against that suspected shooter?
Well, Judge Kenny Easterling gave him a $1 million straight bond. That means he'll have to pay the entire $1 million to get out of jail. He has another hearing set for March 4th. Cherie?
All right, we'll stay on top of it for you. Brian Hamrick, live tonight. Brian, thanks so much.
All right, chill in the air. Did you like the pretty little blanket of snow that we got?
It was nice. It was fluffy.
Well, if you did like it, I mean, there's a chance more wintry weather could be on the way. Here's Chief Meteorologist Kevin Robinson.
Hi, guys. Yeah, those flurries and snow showers, well, they did create a few problems early this morning around the tri-state. They've been more of a novelty throughout the... Talk a lot more about this coming up. Mike and Cherie.
Kevin, thank you. Also breaking news, and I know the story so many of you have been following this weekend. Chaos continues in Mexico after the death of an infamous cartel leader over the weekend. Video from across the country showing cars burning in the city streets as the Mexican military is trying to get control of the situation. Mexican officials say at least 73 people have been killed in the violence so far. The violence there comes 24 hours after the Mexican military killed this cartel leader known as El Mencho.
Yeah, the cartel kingpin was a former police officer, led the JNG cartel, the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency, calling the group one of the most powerful and ruthless criminal organizations there in Mexico. The president of Mexico conveying a message of calm as the violence continues.
Today there's already more calm, and there is a government. They are armed forces, and there is a security cabinet, and there is a lot of coordination. So people can be assured that peace, security, and normalcy are being maintained in the country.
Again, 73, though, dead. Escalating violence there causing many Americans to be left stranded in Mexico without a way to leave the country.
And according to the U.S. Embassy in Mexico tonight, no airports have been closed, but roads are blocked, and that's impacting airline operations. Our WLWT News 5's Lindsay Stone joins us live from our airport, CVG. Lindsay, what areas are being impacted the most?
So, Cherie, a lot of the cancellations that we're seeing both domestically and internationally are on the western side of Mexico. That's Guadalajara, Puerto Vallarta. That is where we're seeing those issues most. But those areas, as you know, are very big attractions for American tourists, a lot of resorts there. And this has really been somewhat of a nightmare for all of them now struggling to find a way to get home. Burned cars, businesses on fire. Americans who are in Mexico are being told to shelter in place, minimize travel if they don't need to leave, and also to stay connected with their loved ones, let them know where they are, whether that's via text, phone, or social media. Of course, very rapidly changing situation here, so we're going to keep a close eye on the situation both in Mexico and how it's affecting our neighbors here at home. Live tonight from CVG Airport, Lindsay Stone, WWT News 5.
Lindsay, thanks so much. New on WLWT, a Northern Kentucky City Council member appearing before a judge in Campbell County. Jesse Hockenberry facing sexual abuse charges. This 32-year-old, a local attorney there, sitting on Highland Heights City Council, currently being held in the Campbell County Detention Center. The judge setting bond at $500.
Meanwhile, the celebration continues tonight for U.S. men's hockey. The 46-year gold medal drought is over, and the Olympic champs are back in the States tonight.
That's right. The team arriving back in Miami a little bit earlier. Sports director Charlie Clifford now. I think people all across America were flipping on those TVs in the morning, and as one, we were mostly rooting for one team yesterday.
And if you're missing two front teeth, you're a little kid at home. Hey, that's cool now, right? Gold medal game hero Jack Hughes, who's missing a couple of those choppers, pushing his own luggage through the airport tonight in Miami. It was a patriotic scene. The terminal's packed. There's autographed folks outside. The 46-year drought is over, and these guys are going to be able to say it forever. We were the group who did it. There's Hughes. There's a gold medal somewhere in there. And as for the Hughes brothers, Austin Matthews, Brady Tkachuk, among the players who stopped to sign tonight. Very cool. It's the small things, right? This group still living out the jubilation. This is a lifelong dream happening in real time.
It's like winning a cup. It doesn't really set in until like weeks or months or, as time goes by. So now that we're back on U.S. soil and just the reaction we're getting from everybody, I mean, we just did something that only 30-plus Americans have done in 100 years.
It's for us, but the best part is for, like I was saying this, the day of the gold medal, it's for all the guys that have come before us and, all the young kids that are going to come after us.
Hughes reiterates tonight there was zero thought of coming out of the game after his two front teeth were whacked out by a Canada high stick. He says it's the second time it's happened, and the only thought that went through his head laying on the ice was, here we go again. Who are these people? Charlie Clifford, WLWT News 5 Sports.
And I love after the game, Charlie, how they talked about, Canada outplayed us and all of that, but we had the best goalie in the world.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, he saved the day.
It would have been over with 20 minutes left if it wasn't for this star goalie. And as you said at 5 o'clock, a story we all needed. And we all felt it yesterday. And I hope we're talking about it 10, 20, 30 years down the road.
Right, on the anniversary of all things.
Beating the Russians.
Yeah, beating the Russians 46 years ago, the same date.
Good stuff there, Charlie. Still to come, a missing woman found dead inside a car in a northern Kentucky creek.
So coming up tonight, we have the new information from officials tonight and the new technology that helped police find her body. Plus.
And it doesn't seem like winter wants to go down without a fight this week, at least, from wind chills down around 10 tonight to another threat for more wintry weather come midweek. I'm breaking it all down. I have the timeline on what you could possibly expect after the break. You're watching Cincinnati's WLWT News 5.
Right now on WLWT News 5 today, we're tracking a chilly start to this Sunday morning for the Flying Pig Marathon. All of that latest running forecast and more coming up.
Plus, months of training all come down to this. Thousands set to run in the Flying Pig Marathon. What you need to know before the big race and the new changes.
Runners are preparing for it all. We are so excited. I'm Kelly Rippin here with Stephen Albritton down at the start line.
Yes, we have the runners starting to show up. The pig just hours away from getting started.
This is WLWT News 5 today, leading the way.
Thousands of runners were set to race across the region in this year's Flying Pig Marathon. This is a live look at the finish swine this morning. The race is expected to kick off at about 6:30 this morning. Good Sunday morning to you and happy race day. I'm Nicole Aponte. WLWT is your home for the Flying Pig Marathon. We have live team coverage all along the course. WLWT anchors Kelly Rippin and Stephen Albritton are at the starting line. Meteorologist Randy Rico is out checking on runners ahead of the race, and Richard Childs is out at the finish swine, where racers hope to secure a pig medal. We want to start our coverage with a check on the race forecast with meteorologist Adam Berniston. We just saw Kelly and Stephen. They are bundled up. Adam, it is cold outside.
Yeah, Kelly, Stephen, Richard, Randy, everyone down there bundled up and in a few minutes. Nicole?
Adam, thank you. After months of training, thousands are set to race to the finish line in one of Greater Cincinnati's biggest traditions. The Flying Pig Marathon will step off in just about an hour and a half from right now. And there are some big changes this year. We are leading the way with live team coverage from along the route. Meteorologist Randy Rico is at the starting line as runners lace up this morning. Richard Childs is down at the finish swine. But we want to send things out to WLWT anchors Kelly Rippin and Stephen Albritton. Kelly and Stephen, good morning to you. How are racers feeling right now?
It is chilly out here, but these are ideal conditions for racers, for runners, not for Stephen Albritton, but it's going to be a great morning, and we are so excited. A record crowd here for Flying Pig Weekend between all of the events. In total, they have about 45,000 people participating, which makes this such a fun weekend for our city.
Yeah, we were talking about it on Friday before we left the office. Even the 10K only had a handful of signups, and those were gone probably by the end of the day. So you got to love it when we can show off this city and show off this iconic race when we have so many people wanting to get out there and do this. A 50 West Mile had a little more than 3,000 people in it. The first watch Flying Piglet, how about 727 of those little cuties out there?
It was adorable. Was present, was adorable.
The most adorable race that you could find out here in this city. And then, of course, we have the half and the full going off here in just a little bit. So many people trying to set a goal, maybe check something off of their bucket list. But if they are getting on the route, and if you're going to come down and watch, first of all, bundle up, of course. But there are changes along the route as well.
There are changes this year, and that kind of makes it exciting, especially for people who have run it for years, but also for some new people who maybe are on the route that haven't been previously. So let's talk about some of those changes, because a lot of them are because of construction happening in the city. That 4th Street Bridge demolition happened just a couple of months ago, so they had to rework the route here. So here's a look at the entire course. You can see it spans, as you can guess, 26.2 miles, and it crosses 2 state lines, which is always fun for people to brag about if they're coming to visit from outside the area. This year's starting line, you might notice, looks a little different for us. It's at Rosa Parks Street instead of Elm Street. If you get a panicked call this morning from someone going, I'm at the start, no one's here. That's what's going on. So runners will immediately then turn left onto 2nd Street, heading onto Pete Rose Way before then crossing over the Taylor Southgate Bridge.
Yes, then the races will then travel through Newport, crossing the Licking River at the 12th Street Bridge into Covington. Then runners take it through downtown Covington, Greenup Street, 4th Street, and then they're going to cross back into Ohio across the Clay Wade Bailey.
Now, once in Cincinnati, you used to go into Queensgate. That has shifted this year. So runners will actually go through downtown, up Gilbert Avenue, and then into Eden Park, everyone's favorite challenge. And from there, the course is pretty similar. There are a couple minor changes through Marymount, and you will no longer run on the bike path to get to Columbia Parkway, but everything will, of course, be clearly marked. And again, this brings in some new people who maybe haven't watched previously.
Yeah, they'll get out there, wave them, get the creative signs, have some fun with them. So once they're on the Columbia Parkway, it's on to Eastern Avenue, Riverside Drive, before racers hit that finish line along West Mering Way, and the party can begin. The beers that they've been missing out on for a few months, they can enjoy one slowly but surely with the water, of course. You just ran 26 miles, maybe 13. Hydrate yourself at the end.
Hydrate. It's going to be a great weekend. Yesterday was beautiful. The city is ready to show off for everyone. You will fall in love with our city, or you will re-fall in love with your very own city down here today. So a thank you to everyone who makes this weekend possible. Nicole, we're going to send it back to you. We're getting closer and closer, starting to see some people trickle in here, but I'm sure when we check back in with you, we'll have a lot more racers down here at the starting line.
Kelly, Stephen, thank you so much. I think we're all so excited, not only for those runners, because all that hard work comes into fruition today, but also for everyone who is watching either a loved one, a family member, or a friend race today. Now, as racers prepare to hit the course, so are medical teams along the marathon route. Tents are set up in case any runners have an emergency. There's also a mobile hospital set up just steps from the finish swine. Flying Pig Medical Director with UC Health, Dr. John Devine, says They have about 4 pods, each with about 10 to 20 beds. And while it is supposed to be cooler this morning, Devine said heat-related issues are still likely.
If they are dehydrated, certainly that raises their risk of their temperature going up. It increases their risk of cramping and fatigue. If we weren't here, the amount of volume that would then inundate the hospitals around the area would really adversely affect the care to the rest of the community.
Doctors say they have more than 350 medical volunteers stationed at the finish line and throughout the course to assist runners. If you're planning to watch the big races today to cheer on a loved one, here's a look at some of the best spots to do so. Lowell Street in Newport is one option for both the half and full marathon. That is new this year because of the course changes. Fountain Square is also a great spot. For the half, you can watch runners in the final stretch on Eggleston Avenue between Sentinel Street and Pete Rose Way. For the full, there's a party zone in Hyde Park Square. And in Columbia, Tusculum, there will also be live music and food trucks at Streetside Brewery. While the Flying Pig is today, races have been happening all weekend long, and some runners are already leaving Flying Pig weekend with a medal. 31-year-old Jack Randall from Cincinnati won the men's division of the Toyota 10K, crossing the finish line with a time of 32 minutes and 37 seconds. For the women, it's 22-year-old Alicia Detmer of Patriot, Indiana. She crossed the finish line first with just under 37 minutes. In the Queen City running 5K, 32-year-old William Doring from Fort Thomas won the men's division with a time of 15 minutes and 24 seconds. 36-year-old Katie Ruhlman from Dayton defended her title in the women's division, crossing the finish line with a time of 17 minutes and 37 seconds. Congratulations to all of them. Leading the way this morning, thousands are set to make a dash to the finish line. That's where we find WLWT News 5's Richard Childs. Richard, good morning to you.
What a great morning for all of these runners in their preparation at the finish line. 26.2 miles away. We're going to be cheering them on when they cross the line.
Plus, gas prices remain high, causing pain at the pump for drivers across Cincinnati, where prices sit this morning and the new developments in the war with Iran.
And we are seeing chilly conditions out there for the start of the Flying Pig. Turns much nicer, though, later on this morning. Sunshine and 60s coming our way, and then eventually some rain for the work and school week. I'll break it all down for you coming up after the break.
Just about 5:10 on this Sunday, on this Flying Pig Marathon Day. So much excitement in the air. There's also a chill in the air. It is going to be cold, ideal for runners, maybe not so ideal for anyone who is watching the race today. We have live team coverage coming up after this, but we'll be right back.